snap once. If you can hear me, snap twice. Teacher trick, number one. There we go. So, I want to first start off by saying, when I first started teaching, I was definitely not mature enough to be a teacher. And even now, 7 years in, I may not be mature enough to be a teacher. So today I want to talk to you about Miss Holland. So as teachers, you all know that usually the students who kind of irk your nerves the most are the ones who remind you of you. Anybody else think that? Well, for me, that was my case. It was my second year teaching. I was the homeroom teacher of a very outgoing, social, and loud homeroom called Wash U. And they took after my personality. I'm outgoing, I'm loud, I get distracted easily. They did all that. But I had a student who one day I was just very impatient. And I was asking my class, be quiet, I got an eye roll. Please stop talking, I got a lip smack. And this is when lip gloss was popping, when everybody was like real white, glossy lip gloss, right? That's when that was happening. The same year that Andrew Pillow was downstairs teaching those 5th graders, I was upstairs with our 8th graders. So that day I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling like being patient, and I said, probably not so nicely, get out of my room. And Miss Holland, if you know her, she had to do a lip pop, she had to do an eye roll, and she had to like talk to her friends as she's leaving. I don't care what she said. She did one of those things. That was Miss Holland. And it was the end of the day, afternoon homeroom, and I'm sitting. I used to think that I wanted to be an actress or, a performer, so I would like sit in the middle of the classroom on this big stool, right, just kind of, or stuff like that. And I had the afternoon announcements in my hand. And I had to make sure all of our students got those documents. So when Ms. Holland was walking out, I said, come back here and get these papers. I wasn't being nice. As I was saying, I was not very mature at this time. And you'll see why. So she comes back in, and she takes these papers. And when she does, she snatches them, and all the papers fly in the room. It's like a dramatic movie. That's what I felt, right? And before I realized it, so our students wear these really nice uniforms, bright blue shirts, nice ironed collars. Before I realized it, my hands were around the collar of this nice, beautiful polo. Let me say this again. I was not mature enough to be a teacher, okay? Understand? And I realized in that moment, I was like, no, Katie, don't lose your job, Katie Johnson, don't lose your job. I said this out loud in a room of 25 to 38 graders. I said it. She proceeds to walk out. I proceed to get my life together, because obviously I needed to, right? So she's in the hallway. I go outside, not really ready to talk, because I know that I have made a mistake. With me talking to a room of educators, we make mistakes, right? And I think the best type of educator is the one who can, one, realize, whoa, I'm doing way too much right now, and then two, apologize. I wasn't ready for any of those, so I did not apologize just yet. But what I did do is, it was the end of the day. She was a walker. She lived in an apartment complex away from her school. And her mom usually came to pick her up. So what I knew is this: either I was going to lose my job that day, or I had to talk to her parents before it got back to my staff, right? I knew that. So I walked downstairs, dismissed my class, and I saw her mom. And at this point, I'm like 23 years old, 22, 23. So I'm second year teaching, messing up. I walk up to her mom and I say, Miss Holland, it's her mom, I jacked your baby up. That's what I said to her. I mean, at this point, we had a relationship because she had been shutting down my class a little bit behaviorally, but not enough for me to ever put my hands on anybody's baby, ever. And her mama's response was going to, it could break my career as a teacher. Part of my language, her mama said, Miss Johnson, you should have beat her ass. And I knew I had my job after that. But after that, because, her mother knew that I cared for her. And the reason why I was really tough with her is because she was extremely intelligent, like very smart. And when she had good days, they were amazing. She could lead a class. What was his name? Like Damien? She could lead a class like Damien. She could quiet the class. She was great. But when she wasn't having a good day, she could also be a culture killer like one of Pillow's kids and tear my class apart. So I had to get her on my side. And that relationship began to build. Outside of school, I'd take her places. We'd have one-on-one conversations in the cafeteria. Miss Holland was an amazing young lady. So throughout the year, we're building our relationship. And as an 8th grader, I got a chance to work with our kids during promotion. And I looked at her and I said, you know what, Miss Holland? Not if, but when you are promoted. When. I would personally take you during room shop. I'm sorry, not if, but when you graduate high school and go to college, no matter where you go, I'm taking you during room shop. And on my teacher budget, that y'all know that's a lot of money. So I was saving for a long time. But the investment that it takes to build a relationship where that is true, where you can say, you know what, 4 years later, I truly plan to do that with this student and keep that promise. So for 4 years, I've been engaging with this young woman. When I go do trips, I went to Ball State, her and one of her other classmates came with me to do a presentation. She's met my family. When I launched my business, she was there in the front row. And this August, I got a chance to keep my word because she kept hers. She graduated from high school. Such a mature and beautiful young lady. And she called me and said, Miss Johnson, I'm ready. When are we going shopping? What's my budget? But it was my honor to take her. We walking through the aisles of Target with the black standing. There we go. Put things in our car. Went to Walmart. Went and got food. And it was just a moment where, as a teacher, I got to sit back and say, this is what this feels like. This is long nights of planning. This is, tears. This is almost losing my job. This is the reward that I get to have for all these years of being an immature teacher. But she took it and she learned and she grew. And I know this is a teacher event, but today Ms. Holland is here with me. And I asked her to come because I want to thank you. Because as teachers, sometimes we do see students who don't make it. And sometimes we do see pictures of kids in jumpsuits. You have changed my life. And I am grateful for you. And for you, not only my investment in your life, but the investment that you have made in mine. So to Ms. Holland, I thank you for 7 years of being in my life, and I plan and I expect to be a part of the next many, many years of yours. So I plan to take you shopping when you graduate college. She is now a freshman at IUPUI. So. To Ms. Renasia Holland and Ms. Tatiana Douglas, thank you all for coming, and I truly appreciate you, ladies.
One second. Study?
Excuse me?
Can you tell them?
Yeah, so she tells me that she wants to be a teacher. And I tell her, Lord, I cannot wait until you get a Renasia Holland in your class. Because you are definitely my Katie Johnson. So thank you all so much.